As she mentioned, my name is Apel, and I actually live in Berkeley Heights, New Jersey. And what I'd like to do is to tell you a little bit about myself and a couple of bouts I've had with cancer. First of all, I grew up in Western Pennsylvania. I went to college. Went to college for a couple of years in Connecticut, and then I went around the world at the age of 20 and spent a year going here and there and everywhere. Went back to college, and with a degree in philosophy, was qualified to do nothing. So I went back to Western Pennsylvania, worked construction for a while, and met the wonderful lady who's my wife, who's going to raise her hand. And while we're pointed in that direction, she's actually the leader of my cancer team. And the second person in charge is the oncology nurse. Her name is Jennifer McLean. Jennifer, raise your hand. And to her left is my medical oncologist, Dr. Lesser. And somewhere in the back is my son in a Loyola sweatshirt. Anyway, after I met Lori, we were married only 9 months before we moved to Idaho, where we lived for 34 years. We raised our 3 sons there, we had lots of friends there. About 2.5 years ago, we moved to New Jersey, where I took a different job. So that's essentially, where I've been and where I've come from. But I want to go back to September 11, 2001. Everybody here is old enough to remember who they were and what they were doing, I'm sure. Anybody not remember where they were that day? You can't remember anything. But one other thing that happened to me that day was late in the afternoon while sitting in the doctor's office in Boise, Idaho, I learned that I had prostate cancer. And but with the help of a good physician, with the prayers of all of our friends, and with God's hands, that cancer was gone in 2 months. And at that point in my life, I had run 2 marathons. I ran one in Portland, Oregon, and I ran one along the coast near Big Sur. And I said to myself, sometime late in 01 or early 02, if I can beat this cancer, surely I can run more marathons. Why don't I run one in every state? So that was my resolution. And a little bit after that, I added to that resolution all 7 continents. That picture you see of me from time to time is actually me standing on a boat in Antarctica, which was probably the most fun of the marathon. So in April of 2009, I finished my 50th state. I ran the Boston Marathon. Don't clap too much because I didn't qualify. That's the only marathon you have to qualify for, and I'm not a very fast runner. So what I did was I applied to various charities and it seemed most appropriate to apply to a cancer charity. So I raised $22,000 for the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, and that's the only reason I ran the Boston Marathon. Later that year, Lori and I went to Australia and I finished my 7th continent. And so I accomplished what I set out to do. I run a total of 76 marathons in less than 10 years and said to myself, well, what's the next decade going to bring? We did this decade. It was a great decade. My wife and I had our 30th wedding anniversary. All 3 of us then. All 3 of our sons graduated from college. We had 2 grandchildren. It was a great decade. So what's the next decade going to bring? The second decade of the 21st century. Well, I learned what it was going to bring on the Saturday after Thanksgiving. visiting our oldest son in the San Francisco Bay Area. And the Saturday after Thanksgiving, oh, by the way, the Boise State fans, they lost the night before. Very disappointing. But I went out for a 6-mile run. I came back, I showered, and I felt this tingling sensation in my arms, and my fingers, on the left side, and my left leg. And Lori, being nervous, recognized a medical emergency. I guess my face was moving a lot too. She called 911. I've never had an ambulance ride before, so it was actually kind of fun. They took me to a stroke and heart center, and after about a couple hours said, well, you didn't have a stroke, but you've got a mass in your brain, and it needs immediate surgery. So this is Saturday. So they took me to another hospital, a neuro-intensive care unit on Sunday. On Monday, Lori and I left San Francisco, flew back to New Jersey. On Tuesday, we packed 3 months worth of goods. On Wednesday, we drove to Winston-Salem. On Thursday, I had appointments with my physicians, including a neurosurgeon. And on Friday, December 3, I had brain surgery right here at University Baptist Medical Center. And that's why I'm here. That brain surgery turned out to show that I had what's called a glioblastoma multiforme, or GBM it's called, which is apparently the most aggressive of brain cancers. If you look at different cancers, they often show you what the survival rates are. In this cancer, they don't, because there are no survivors. Instead, they show you life expectancies. And I think as one of the posters said, I probably have a 50% chance of living out the rest of the year. But that also means I've got a chance of living longer, just as much as I've got of living shorter. But to me, it's not the life expectancy that matters. What matters is that I have no problem with that. And what matters is that you all are here, just like with the way this all started, we're looking for funds to help find the cures for the various kinds of cancer. You may remember that Brian Piccolo's cancer is now 85% curable, if I read the information right now. And I think with your help, with everybody else's help, there will be cures for GBMs, for other kinds of cancers, and there will be better ways to treat the cancer that people have. So I applaud you all for being here today. I want to ask a question. How many people here have run in their life more than 5 miles? Raise your hand. All right. If you've run more than 10 miles, keep your hand up. More than 15 miles. No, let's look at it. If you run 13.1 miles, keep your hands up. How many have run 20 miles? You got 2 hands up. How many have run at least 26.2 miles? All right. And the reason that's important is standing on your feet for 6 or 12 hours is like running a half marathon or a marathon. There is an end. And however hard it is it you that raised your hand? Maybe you're at mile 12 at the moment, right? You're going to get to mile 13 here in another half an hour or so. But hang in there. And I want to, before I close, I want to thank not only all of you for contributing, but I want to comment on the Comprehensive Cancer Center, or CCC as I call it, in Wake Forest. Every one of those people over there works there. And ever since the first day, my wife and I were here, everybody has been very friendly, has been very helpful, and has been a blessing to work with. In fact, what my wife and I are doing right now is I was enrolled in a clinical trial to take a trial drug that may extend my life expectancy beyond what it's supposed to be without this. But only in a place like Wake Forest can you do that. You just can't go anywhere and get this trial drug. And these people up there on the bleachers have been wonderful in helping me with that. But it's only because we have a facility here in Winston-Salem that can do that. And so my wife and I currently are commuting from New Jersey down here, but we like it so much, we love Winston-Salem, that I think maybe we'll just move here. Not just because it'll make the commuting go away, but because it's such a nice place to live. So keep on dancing, playing